There are so many posters about BBF. I just don't particularly think that BBF even went violent to begin with, but I could be wrong. We have narrow windows into these people, but I'm like, this feels performative. Like, it feels like the amount, like, admittedly in some video games, something like this might come up this much just because they're trying to, like, make sure you notice it at some point as the player, because people miss things all the time. Even when I first got the hints about BBF in this setting, it occurred to me I might have walked down a hallway full of posters and not noticed them yet. But seeing them everywhere within the society to be shown to everyone here, it definitely feels like a performative other that you have to, like, fear and hate and so on, so that you to increase your loyalty within the in-group of this particular thing. You know, like conservatives and Mexicans.
Best to not draw attention.
Like, here's the threat, here's the bad thing, everyone be scared of bad thing, and that's why all this security is okay. That's why it's okay that you have fewer rights now, and everything's observably shittier than it was 10 years ago, but you're supposed to try not to remember what things were like 10 years ago. Because there's totally an outside force that's super scary and dangerous, which justifies everything. Which the previous society also had in the form of the occupants, which it's still unclear to me whether or not the occupants actually attacked or ever attack. That's kind of up in the air. The occupants do seem to be upsettingly dangerous on some level, because the memory indicates that the occupants wiped out the 50, but it was at Mother's request, so I don't know if that's normally what they were doing. Maybe they were ending the world, or maybe the plague was ending the world, or both. It's both. We don't really see the apocalypse in concrete details in a very tangible, real-time way to really understand it. So it's unclear what the occupants are up to. But the fact that there is the implication of collusion, I mean, it's explicit in that one memory, but specifically Fixer, in a modern context, was talking about them interacting. It doesn't seem like the occupants would have been attacking the city, and if they were, they maybe were doing it on the behalf of ALLMOTHER. I keep stopping in front of characters thinking that they're going to want to talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me in this city.
Go around, miscellaneous.
Rude.
I need to.
Don't care. No one in or out. Principal's orders.
Well, now it's harder than ever to be sure if I've seen people. Speak with the other ministers. I still haven't found the Minister of Health. Yes, I have. I remember. Yeah, I might have been underusing this waypoint system for finding the characters that I could have talked to. It looks like things show up that you've already talked to, though. Yeah, it does appear that characters you've already talked to show up still. So maybe it wouldn't have been the best system anyway. I do think being ultra completionist would just kind of drag the series down a bit. So I just try my best to find who I can.
Low profile, just scrubbing the floors.
Like, I talked to you. And the health one. Who am I missing? The Fixer one? I'll take the moment to drag us down a little bit just to try to find who I'm missing. Yeah, I talked to you already. I can run around while they're still up.
All the medical reports say she's in peak condition.
Is someone green beneath me or above me? I don't have a map, so this is even harder than normal. I don't have a... No one gave me a map. Rudely.
Her name is Candy. Or was it?
I talked to you on the way in. So I think green is the one I'm missing, and that's it. I haven't been inside Shell yet. Is anyone here? Well, I guess I'm supposed to run this place. His bartender's gone. They interestingly did highlight this area as black. Yeah, she had the white and black outfit. I love that bit of foreshadowing. Like, we didn't really know. Hello, rude.
No access.
I just want to.
No access means no access.
Y'all have fewer rights and don't even notice it. Generational gap does that, though. It's only been 10 years, but because they're clones and they live quickly and there was a calamity that killed so many people, people don't really remember as clearly. And the people who do remember are seen as enemies. They literally killed bartender for holding on to the past. Was their own explanation, at least. That's like, Jesus Christ. Sorry for existing for more than 10 years.
To do new. Todo no. Tada na.
What are you doing?
Oops. Vocal warm-ups?
Are you in the play?
I wish. But they do the same play every year. If only they would add some new characters. Or maybe a sequel. But who would I play?
Bang Bang Fire?
That's a scary idea. Just pop out of the tracks now and then. Blow a sister's brains out. It would be a tough role to hang up at the end of the day.
I would have the bloodlust.
How about healer?
And what? Play a pile of ashes? No thanks.
What? Do you... Is art in that state now, where you only think of the current state of things and not the past or the future? You're incompatible with the idea of playing a character who was alive, but is now dead?
The High Minister?
A juicy part. Loads of subtext. But with her watching me from the front row? Yikes.
Loads of subtext. You don't know anything about her.
Maybe Fixer?
A god tier traitor for sure. I heard there was a play about her once. Maybe they could revive it.
I'm off.
Maybe they'll make a play about us one day. Think we'll do anything worth remembering?
Probably not.
Who am I kidding? We're bit players.
I'm amused by how often dialogue choices are almost like they're kind of a false choice. The choices might say different things or they might not. But like sometimes you're picking things to say and sometimes the things, your dialogue choices are your internal reactions to stuff. Where all the options themselves are all collectively the thoughts of the protagonist in that moment. But you click on any of them and she chooses not to say anything, essentially. That self-censoring is very interesting to implement in the game. I like that a lot. I could picture people being annoyed by it, but it's like, it just takes you taking a moment to recognize that the game's doing something artistically as opposed to like, oh, I'm lying to you, I'm promising choices like Mass Effect and it's actually a lie, and like the way that people think of things in really 2D sort of ways of like, it's kind of like when people think that Spec Ops The Line is trying to make you feel bad for doing the things in it. It's like, that's not... I know that you are the protagonist, so it's a little different than watching a movie about war being bad, but you also aren't the protagonist. Like, it is a story with a character and everything. But yeah, I find moments like that really interesting. This is a whole thing. The stages are becoming more involved, more officially sanctioned, basically, than the previous ones. Because the previous system had almost nothing official to it. There was like 5 roles, you did those things, and everybody else was just playing around in the open concrete with no elements, no assets, no recognition, really. Now plays are more official, but now they just do one play over and over again, which is probably the government-sanctioned propaganda play, essentially. And it's like, but now there's resources for it. Yay. And seemingly a slave class of some sort. Whatever's going on there. Uh-huh. Are all of the Jiaos now marked as blue since there's no blues? Did they replace the blues? They had a whole class of people that were supposed to be the people that kept history, essentially, and observed and understood what was happening and dreamed. That's a key thing, too. The people that dreamed, and they've been replaced by just a subservient class that just follows orders and is clones of the just like the follower, essentially, that Iris had. The person that was just happy to well, I don't every word that I think of is too mean when I specifically don't mean those things, so I'm not saying any of those things, but I'm not coming up with better things to say. So I'm just gonna drop the thought because I'm failing to articulate. Because Jiao's a very interesting and sympathetic character. So it's not like oh, that's too mean. Like am I just tired? Is it too early for this? I'm just starting the session right now. I'm not articulate enough yet.
Jeez, do not run up to people like that.
I've been walking around in circles around you for like the last 10 minutes talking at myself.
Wait, who are you? Number?
48.
48. Function?
Bartender.
Oh, I see. Right. Welcome. I'm the Minister of Infrastructure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, Minister.
Yeah, no, I'm just a bit on edge. I'll be happy when this play is over.
You're not looking forward to it?
It's great, festive, but there's crowd control, traffic, seating, powering the stage, about a million things that could go wrong. Don't worry, though. We got it. Just don't curse it.
It's my first day up here. First time seeing the inside sky, the trees, statues.
Good, well, thanks for saying hello. May I be of service?
The play. It's a big project for you?
Oh, yes. All hands on deck. Between the stage and the audience, it's a lot of traffic with sisters squeezed into a tight space. Bit of a logistical nightmare. Hopefully, the Minister of Defense will do her job and make sure everyone's behaving. Still, I don't love being shoulder to shoulder with that many people. It's asking for trouble.
In what way?
Forget I even mentioned it.
Does the Ministry have any other projects?
The play is supposed to be a side project. I honestly don't understand why it isn't overseen by the Ministry of Culture. But hey, artists. Show them a cable and they'll sing to it. Show them one button and they'll press the other one. You think Denise could pull this off? Sorry, I'm stressed. Short answer, yes. We have other projects, and I can't wait to get back to them.
Did you know the old fixer?
Shh! What the hell? Can you knock it off with the F word?
What?
Let's just say 6 sisters turned down this appointment before I took it.
Really? Why?
Please, if you're that interested, just ask someone else. Don't tempt fate around me.
I want to know more about the trains. Never seen them.
They travel back and forth between here and the other side. Mostly it's Jiao types that make the commute these days.
But how does it work?
You're like one of those people who's really into ghosts, aren't you?
What? It's a train.
I'm just asking, okay?
Don't worry, alright? We got a security checkpoint for every tunnel. Nothing is gonna get you.
I think we're exclusively talking about fear.
Thanks.
Good luck on your first day. It will be a busy one. Maybe I'll come up for a red punch. If only I had the time.
That's the final minister. She said minister of culture? Who's the minister of culture? We have the healer, shouldn't be that, and it shouldn't be the security. Because they called that person something. I think it was security. And I'm trying to think of all the sisters now. Because there wasn't really a culture one. Would it be knowledge? Would the new knower be the minister of culture maybe? And now that'd be really ironic though. Stopped caring about history, stopped caring about records. So they're not really great at a cultural record, but they're also, them being the arts person would be weird because they supplanted the person who was all about artistic interpretations of things. There's something very specific about that. I think about how it like, I am somebody who does, like, I do queer readings of things on my video essay channel and and just in generally just try to interpret art and so on as a concept in general on all my things. And it's always about trying to figure out the deeper political message of something and also like what it might mean regardless of the author's intent and what kind of readings you can have and what kind of meaning you can draw from something. And finding more and more meaning in art is very good in general, just for people, being able to understand other types of people, being able to conceive of what could be that isn't, and so on. There's so many purposes to being able to interpret art. And there are certain types of regimes that benefit greatly from not interpreting art and from forcing a specific meaning or insisting on a lack of meaning. This comes up a lot with like Star Wars and so on, and a lot of like popular discourse about popular fiction is that you have, in many cases, one side trying to build a larger meaning and then another side that basically just insists that there's no meaning, there's no metaphor, there's no politics, there's no point to art really. It just is enjoyment and lore. It's just facts that don't go anywhere, and you understand them for this, just for the sake of memorizing them, essentially, to show your allegiance to enjoying the thing, and then you just want more of the thing because you like it so much, and you care so much about continuity and facts and stuff, but not so much like what any of it's actually saying. So people, the idea of being a fan of an entire franchise or something, but not actually caring what the overall thing says and how it makes you feel and why it exists and so on, because those kinds of thoughts can be counterproductive to the agenda of the people that insist on there being a lack of meaning. And it's been the exhausting conversation surrounding a lot of this stuff. And so what I find specifically interesting is that you had these two candidates to replace Knower, and one of them was extremely invested in metaphorical readings of things and trying to interrogate what things mean. Misguided or no, she really, really wanted to understand Mother's poem more than anyone, and was trying and had so many conflicting and alternate readings of so many lines, and was really invested in that. And that was really respectable, even though on my level I was somewhat thinking like it does, my particular reading was kind of that it was the pettily made poem of a homicidal child, but that also has its own meaning. But she was really invested in reading that, and she was killed accidentally, but killed specifically by the person who turned out to be the leader of the Knowers now. And that person does not care about history and does not care about metaphorical readings. And both she and the inheritor after Bang Bang Fire, both of the new leader of, I don't know, knowledge and defense or whatever, the names are hard to keep track of because they keep changing. both of those leaders hate metaphor and poetry. That's wild. That is a significant shift in the setting that is almost certainly completely intentional, by which I mean both intentional in universe by the leadership and intentional by the writers of the game, because they are on to shit all the time. And I respect the game to expect that these elements are not like incidental, but very, very planned. The fact that they keep track of the continuity of every single individual character between all the different stages of the first chapters of the game, and then actually made a point to make it so you could tell who lived and who died during the calamity. And then furthermore, I raised the question now of you being able to, because obviously, like, they know, I think, that there's too many characters, and you're not going to be able to keep track of them all. And it's going to be especially hard to keep track of them when all their names change now. But they're keeping track, and they're having each one have a little arc and a little point to them. And I think there's meaning to be drawn from those, even though you're not expected to actually keep track of all of it in one go on one playthrough, because that would be insane. I know that with my inability to follow Elden Ring lore and stuff like that, I'm especially bad for being able to keep track and memorize so many characters with not super interesting names and not very loud and like time spending storylines. But I'm definitely grasping some of the points and some of the elements, and I think to some extent it even might be a bit of a Rorschach test to like create a big net of different characters that you might find to have interesting plights and so on, and certain ones will stand out to you more than the other ones, and then you'll really notice which ones of the people that you specifically remember make it through the calamity and so on, and might be more invested in figuring out whether or not they're still alive now 10 years later, and what has happened to them when the entire world changed around them, and whether or not they changed with it and so on. It's a super interesting story. It's so fucking just brutally ambitious to do all of that in one go. I had to reconcile the fact that, like, I think because this game came out in like May 2024, I think that's the same time that like Lorelei and the Laser Eyes came out and so on. Like that, I remember me and Toaster, we were both just kind of shitting ourselves because that month every cool indie game came out in like 2 weeks, and we're still catching up. I had a list at one point of all the games that came out in May 2024, and I don't remember what they are anymore, and I'm like, oh fuck, are some of them lost to time? Because there was like a promising looking game coming out every 3 days. It was like a Blueprints came out every 3 days that month. It was insane. Actually absurd month of time, and I'm just now getting to this game like 14 months later. Whoops.
Iris type, thank you for stopping by. Would you like a replica of Ancient Jiao's diary? You can take notes just like humans did before.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, the diary is still coming up. I'm so fascinated by how there's all these small, emotionally resonant details throughout the whole thing. Like how we had her diary and so on. And it was like kind of a cruelty of how Iris treated Jiao over her diary. And then at a later time, one of Iris's clones Jiao from the diary, and Iris is so distraught by this for so many reasons. It's Jiao again, who she feels guilt over. The fact that it's a monstrous, strange, like, defective Jiao is upsetting. The fact that there's a lot going on there. It was a schism in the entire world. That was the first event in the history of the clones that that changed the course of everything, and that became the status quo after the Jiao incident until now. And there were seemingly no Jiaos, but there might have been Jiaos with her, for all we know. Maybe she was cloning Jiaos in her own time, trying to recreate her because she was alone. But we don't know. We didn't get to learn about ALLMOTHER on that level. But now, in this like sort of third era, Jiaos are back after 1,000 years of the previous world. They still persisted. There's still Jiao DNA to this day. And like, not only did the diary become the last memory of Jiao, that also maintained some of her DNA, so it was able to physically manifest her again in a way that upset Iris. Now Iris is dead for 10 years, and Jiaos are everywhere. Jiao has in a way outlived Iris. I guess not really, because we're all Iris too. We're all equally clones at this point. But we are eternally recreating the dynamic between these two characters. And now Jiao's diary is a mass-produced commodity, essentially. Wild. The fact that Jiao is back is interesting too, because that does take me back into some Signalis territory, which was a very good game everyone should play, which I feel like the creators of this game played. And I'm not saying it influenced the game, because I don't know how the timeline of the development would even work there. I just mean that they just are people who would have played it regardless because of their apparent interests. But that game is also kind of about this like ship of Theseus question or whatever, or teleporter problem cloning question of like, are any of the characters who they say they are anymore? Do the original characters even exist anymore? Maybe not. But the bond between them, the relationship between them, is persisting for thousands of years. It's an infinite, inescapable truth. In Signalis' case, it's like the love between these characters is more... It outlasts literally everything, including them and the world around them and so on. And here we have this back and forth between Iris and Jiao persisting beyond recognition thousands of years later, and it's like that parallel is hard to miss between these games. Where I'm like, that's super interesting, especially with that game also having like, oh, there's like 6 types of people basically, and they're all kind of clones of each other and so on, if I remember correctly. That's actually a really interesting companion game to look at next to this one. Yeah.
This book is from the surface?
These are only copies. The original is in the loving care of Principal herself, but I guarantee they look the same and feel the same.
Have you seen the original?
No. But that's what they tell me. Everything is the same, except these diaries are empty, ready for you to fill them with anything.
Oh. They're empty. Just the echo of the idea of Jiao's diary is merch. But they don't have any history or emotion remaining.
Why are they making replicas?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. This must be your first time upstairs. All year, Jiao types carefully remake an item that belonged to ancient Iris. Things she brought from the surface. Then, on the day of her dying, we give them away to Iris types in gratitude.
Gratitude for what?
For the provisional government, of course.
Do any Jiao types sit on the High Council?
No one wants that. Us Jiao types are happy not dealing with such complicated things. Leave that busy work to Iris types, I say.
Are there more Jiao types?
More than there are diaries. We don't often get to come over here. I am very honored. Most of us are on the other side. This side is best, of course. So many trees.
Didn't the ALLMOTHER used to live over there?
That is what I heard. But that was a long time ago. The provisional government is on this side, so this must be the best side. There is a Jiao type that lives here all the time. The first one. That bitch betrayed us.
Betrayed?
I meant, she's so lucky.
That bitch betrayed us. The first Jiao type, which is a very specific, not true statement, right? Obviously the first Jiao is dead, and the first Jiao type, as far as we know, is dead because she got almost decapitated. We didn't get perfect confirmation that she died, but it sure seems like she would not have survived that. But I also just really wonder, I feel like we got a reveal at some point of what Iris was up to all those years, because we didn't get anything, and maybe we won't, but we might get some hint, some chance to commune with what she was up to or something, because I wonder if she had a shrine of some sort to Jiao, or because of how Jiao had a shrine in her memories. Jiao persisted. She made a shrine to Jiao on that rooftop. And I wonder if she might have even been cloning Jiao's, or even had her own Jiao. I don't know. I wonder if she had her own Jiao. Maybe not before the first clone. That first clone might have given her the idea that it was possible, and maybe that's something that she was doing all the way off on her separate life that we don't know anything about. We don't know what she was doing with all of those Iris types that she was keeping there. She supposedly was fighting the occupants, but I don't know if I believe that the occupants are her enemy.
The Jiao types I've met appear so happy.
Of course. We are so happy making replicas, giving tours, helping Iris types. Ancient Jiao was a happy person. Apparently, she really worshipped Ancient Iris. What a dummy. We want to be just like her.
What? She's too self-aware.
See you.
Come by again.
See, I don't believe her. She's too self-aware. So like she's judging the original Jiao. She's not just, first of all, Jiao had more complexity than that. It's just that she was trying to adapt to this new place and trying to be happy and just trying to be friendly, and was a child, which is, everyone being clones of children is a lot for them to deal with. Well, I mean, like being a teenager and stuff. I mean, like, everyone was so young that like them running the world is a little terrifying, but that's also what happens to every world. That's what we are in a way. We're all clones of dumb young people. That's what the world's populated by. I hate to breach that subject. Blah, blah, blah. Maintenance is a smaller font, and that pisses me off. It just bothers me. They ran out of space, and they didn't make the other ones fit the same. For my brain is always like, okay, you gotta make the font, make the biggest word fit, and then everything else has to match that font size. Otherwise, the changing font size is really distracting. Oh, she's playing the role. Oh yeah, the dressed up. That's Blue.
Okay.
Dear sister, your presence pleases me.
Excuse me?
All that you see is birthed from me, for I am the great ALLMOTHER.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm trying to stay in character. Oh, dear sister, look upon me.
You're performing in the play, I gather?
I am the play. Dear sister, a story of death and betrayal. I do hope to see your face out there.
You, stay in character? All day?
Some sisters work harder than others. Not like this charlatan next to me.
Hop, 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 hop. Those heels, they look like a nightmare. Especially because they don't have heels. So you're just walking around on like horse hooves sticking out of your toes. That...
I played Watcher last year and I did a much better job.
I doubt that.
This will be my first time seeing the play.
Oh, then I shan't spoil it for you, dear sister.
I know what happens.
So what? Are you a child? What's important is how it happens. You shall see.
Do you practice a lot?
You mean rehearse? Yes, sister, I know my lines by heart. I am ready to embody the All-Mother's essence. Envisioning the outcome produces the outcome. All I want is to show Principal I am worthy of this role.
I'll leave you to it.
Don't miss this one, sister. It will set your soul afire.
The game almost feels mean to actors and so on, but I think it's just more the idea that like this is how history is lost and context is lost, is that like you have narratives being retold by people who didn't experience them, and everyone involved is themselves doing it for self-serving reasons, like they're furthering their careers and they're trying to have chances to show people what they're capable of and so on. And so like stories as a concept told generationally are so, they go through so many filters and lenses and distortions before they reach you that you shouldn't really trust any historical retelling or any sort of dramatization, or, you know, more little sense like plays and biopics and so on, as being authentic, because they're all, it's all narrative. It's all written and scripted and separate from a literal retelling of what actually happened. And there are so many motivations to change it every step of the way that that's like an important part of trying to understand things. And different people have different understandings of that. Like queer people particularly frequently have a very clear understanding of that, because like we're part of growing up is realizing that we've been erased from history and erased from our own stories, sometimes very literally, not just erased from things we like. Not only are we erased from stories we were very obviously a part of, but sometimes literally queer people's stories erase their actual queerness in the retelling of them. Like, because sometimes the straight society will agree that a queer person is historically significant enough to idolize and to retell their story left and right, but they'll sand off all the elements of themselves that don't fit with straight society, even when their queerness informs their greatness and their upbringing and why they did what they did and why they were like what they were like. They would still try to strip that and just reduce people to geniuses, which is one of the most condescending things you can call someone, honestly.
What are you doing? Vocal warm-up. Don't want to get caught on stage with shallow voice, do we? Don't be scared. I'm not the real Watcher. I'm not gonna hurt you.
See, I say all that, and then they just come out and say it. We're like, yeah, wouldn't want to be caught with a shallow voice. Meanwhile, she's literally just saying me, 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 me.
Is it weird pretending to be her? Weird? Maybe. Tantalizing? Definitely. Who wouldn't want to play the greatest villain of all time?
Her, wherever she is, the balcony one, her, over there. Yeah, that one. I kind of can't see her over here. I guess she can see the stage. That's what she's looking at. Yeah, I can just barely see her when I turn all the way over here.
I guess so.
Playing villains is really fun. I played a villain on the last season of No Playing Games on Patreon. Those are little side things for supporters. And I'm going to be playing a villain next season for the public too. You get to see say rude things and put on a voice.
Do sisters look at you funny? Every now and again. Hecky! Grace to the All-Mother. Gotcha.
That what?
You waiting around for something? Stage time. It's essential to feel the stage before performing. To know its contours, its edges. To be comfortable. I'm gonna go. Fare thee well. Or should I say, hair to hair.
People's
whatever.
People's alien reactions to the these greetings, and like not even knowing how to say them correctly and so on, and having no grasp of them is so interesting. I think about that story that I reference here and there, where just like the idea of like, there's people who would like, they'd either like be in the military or they'd be in prison for like 10 years. And they left before smartphones were a thing and were reintroduced to society after smartphones were a thing for years. And suddenly everyone's interactions in public and everyone's interaction with these devices just so fundamentally changed in a way that wasn't around until after that. And like, it's that type of change that was just gradual enough that you might not fully notice it when you're there during the adoption of it all. But having everyone's behavior change so starkly all at once, as if you were in a coma or something, would be such a stark change to the world. It'd be like Rick Grimes going and like falling into a coma and then waking up in the post-apocalypse Walking Dead zombie universe and having missed the transition.
Enjoying the view?
Oh yeah, I can see everything from up here. All kinds of trouble.
You can't see shit from up here. You can see like 4 people. You're surrounded by so many line of sight breakers. You're so full of lies. Trouble is coming for you. Very clever. Gratitude.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
It's the least I can do.
I like picking the most antagonistic option because I don't think she's gonna say it.
You? They really let you up here?
I guess you know me.
That's enough. What do you want?
Do you really have to be here?
You can never be too safe. I'm plenty fine doing nothing. In fact, I prefer it. Why, you want to cause trouble? Give me something to do?
I wouldn't dream of it.
I didn't think so.
Lots of hustle, I see.
The play. It happens every year. Get used to it.
A play about what?
Don't you know anything? We're observing the All-Mother's death.
You didn't really answer my question.
I'm not spoiling anything. You'll have to see it for yourself.
Don't worry. I will. Who gets special treatment?
Those seats are reserved for the ministers. The rest of us have to stand.
You don't sound very happy about that.
If I have to stand to make room for sisters like you, then I'll stand.
Enjoy.
Figure it out already.
Aggro. Okay. The depiction is interesting because it's like we were already here before the Reds, so we know that this level of security wasn't necessary. Like we didn't have interpersonal conflict and violence on that level to justify their presence in the begin with. And now they're this overbearing presence all over the entire city, and the job that they're given and the authority that they're given and the position they're given and so on makes them antagonistic even when they're not being antagonized. They are an antagonistic force on the city at all times. So there suddenly is this feeling of violence, this idea that we're going to be in conflict and we're in danger, and that being around these people, it makes you think that even if you're not thinking that they're going to do violence on you, you're thinking that violence is a thing that happens now, and you're concerned about it happening, and now you're thinking about it happening. And like, that's a really interesting element about displays of force and like spectacles of policing and so on, is like it becomes part of the vocabulary more so. Like, their very presence kind of escalates the premise of violence in a way that their absence doesn't. And the game is like really aware of that, it seems. All right. This was a mostly talky episode. This will be one of those episodes where people complain. It's always a minority, but there's always some people that complain whenever I'm standing around talking. Like, oh my god, just play the game. And I'm like, I'm so confused by those people, because like the part where I talk is like the playthrough. That's like the let's play. You can just watch a silent playthrough of the game and it would be over like a third as quickly. I always think about these people like swimming upriver and doing this to themselves to some extent, because I'm like, if you're just using it wrong, you're using the videos wrong. I'm doing all the talking for the people that are here for the talking and like the talking, but like, if you don't like it, no hard feelings, just go away and go watch one of those nice quick silent playthroughs where someone blitzes the whole game in like 6 hours. I looked it up. A full playthrough of this game, you can watch this whole game in a single video in like 10 hours, which is definitely shorter than this playthrough is going to be by the end, by a huge margin. And it's just somebody clicking through it. Or you can play it yourself. Then you can definitely get exactly what you want out of it. I've always found that interesting when people react that way. I'm like, but the part where I try to do analysis and discussion, that's what I'm bringing to the table. If I'm not doing that, I might as well not have a channel. I could just not upload. You could just let you filter into watching the other people that already recorded the silent playthrough. Once there's one silent playthrough of a game, nobody else has to make it, because it's already there. And there's no different flavors of personality and spectacle and interest and perspective to bring to the table. There's just the one silent playthrough. Unless they do something catastrophically wrong in it, that's the only version that needs to exist forever. And so why would I do that? That would be stupid.